From Shelton to Southport, from Newtown to New Canaan. If it affects Fairfield County, it's on Melissa in the Morning. WICC 600 AM and 107.3 FM.
I am chatting this morning with attorney Melissa Needle. She handles some of the region's high-profile, complex divorce cases. When someone's confronted with the prospect of divorce, the idea of mediation is often a first reaction. So the thought of actually kind of getting along, finding a middle ground and things like that could be a very hard process. So this morning, I welcome back to the show Attorney Needle with Needle Cuda. Thank you so much for being here, Melissa. How are you? Melissa, do I have you here connected? Let's see.
I can hear you.
There we go. I can hear you now. Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, Melissa. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Always good to chat with you, Melissa. So glad to have you here. So, this idea of trying to keep things, keep the peace a little bit, or can I save money or even maintain privacy during this process? Are those expectations realistic?
Yes, they certainly can be. And mediation can be an excellent platform for people who recognize that their marriage has deteriorated. But it has to take a certain type of person. There has to be trust between the spouses if this is really going to be an effective path to divorce. It also takes people who are on a level playing field in terms of the financial landscape of the family. And if you have trust and equality with regard to finances, then mediation can be a really good route for people to get divorced. And it can save time, it can save money, and most importantly, the emotional cost involved in getting divorced, if you can successfully mediate the issues, can really be helpful.
Sorry, go for it.
No. Go ahead. What's the next question?
I wanted to do kind of a deeper dive, if you don't mind, because I know we've said the word mediation a couple times. But how is that, or something like arbitration? How are those actually used in Connecticut divorce cases?
Okay, so there's a big difference between mediation and arbitration. Mediation is when you meet with a neutral party and they make recommendations as to what a fair resolution is. Arbitration is usually binding, and it is really you hire a private judge to make final decisions. And in Fairfield County, and in particular in my practice, we use mediation quite a bit, and we use it in different ways. And the most popular way is represented mediation, where both parties have their own lawyers and they hire a private mediator, and you send information to that private mediator in advance that is relevant to the issues related to the divorce. And then you spend time with the mediator. You set aside a day or two, and the mediator gets to know each party's, tries to understand what the goals of both spouses are, and with the assistance of the lawyers and the parties, try to come to a mutual agreement. And in my practice, we have found that this is a very successful venue to reaching settlement. There is also arbitration, which we're doing quite a bit these days since the courts are backlogged due to COVID. And what you do in arbitration is you hire someone, such as a retired family law judge, to act as the arbitrator, and you meet in a conference room, either at someone's office or you go to a hotel and rent a conference room, and you put the trial on in front of the retired judge, and you can make up your own rules. So it can be an effective way to get people to the finish line who can't agree, and you can streamline the process. So, again, it's something that we use quite a bit here at Needle Cuda, and we have had a lot of success with it.
That's interesting. Which one, in your professional opinion, is more successful? Like, which one ends better? Or is that too weird of a question?
No, it's an excellent question, actually, Melissa. And the real difference is when you mediate a case, both you and your spouse are agreeing to the terms. It might not be everything that you want, but at least you understood how you got there, okay? So you and your spouse are in control of the situation, and you're making the decisions. If you participate in arbitration, the difference is a stranger is making the decisions on your behalf. So the stranger or the arbitrator is going to be deciding what's best for your children. When do you get to see the children? How much money are you going to get every month to support your needs? And so I would recommend, if possible, that mediation is something that results in more satisfaction than arbitration, because you're a little bit more in control of the process and the ultimate decisions that are being made on behalf of your family.
Well, and I would also think, Melissa, and obviously you're the expert, not me, but correct me if I'm wrong, but like if you do have kids, especially in the mix, I think if you can find some way to have very little animosity towards your ex-spouse, I would think that mediation would do the trick a lot better than arbitration. Like if you're told by, a judge or somebody, the arbitrator, that, hey, you're not going to do this, or this is not going to happen because I see this is whatever, I would think you'd have a lot of resentment towards your ex-spouse even more when you have no control. Whereas if you have a little bit of control, at least you could say, you know what, I understand the process. I don't love it, but I'm at peace with it, and I can move forward with this person. Like I would think with an arbitrator situation, you'd have a hard time moving forward with that person, which is hard on the kids.
Yeah, and that's an excellent observation, Melissa. And the difficulty with doing an arbitration or even having a trial in court is that you are required to give evidence. And when you're testifying about your private relationship with your spouse, you're saying things that can never be taken back. And, the effects of that typically are very long-lasting on the family dynamic. So that's why mediation is a more amicable process to get you to the finish line. But unfortunately, sometimes it's not successful. If you have a spouse that is entrenched in their positions and unwilling to compromise, then you're sometimes not able to get to the finish line. And that's why having an alternative like arbitration can get the process concluded, although there might be some hard feelings.
That's a good point. And of course, both are options. There's so many things that the Needle Cuda team can do for you. So Attorney Needle, how can people contact you if they want to come to you with whatever they're going through right now? Sure.
We can always be reached at our phone number, 203-557-9500, or we have a website, needlecuda.com, and we could be reached either way, and we're happy to help you with any concerns or questions that you may have.
Attorney Melissa Needle, always a pleasure to connect with you. Thank you so much.
You too, Melissa. Always fun to chat. Take care.
All right, I'll talk to you soon. That is Attorney Melissa Needle here